question-answer session?
Yes, you like. Whatever you like me to do.
This one question is...
But you have to be loud.
Yeah. Question is, when Prabhupada came to the West, it's like Senapati Bhakta, like Chaitanya Prabhu sent him, he like Nitya Sila, and it's like this question also some of his disciples are also like eternal liberated persons and like his disciples, they're also like eternal associates of Prabhupada. They come to help him. I don't know, you can comment something about this.
I just studied this little bit, what Prabhupada said about us, his disciples. And it is truly heartbreaking how Prabhupada perceived us. I have to say, just to start on a controversial note, quite contrary to some of the gurus who act and think probably differently. They think this is conditioned souls, they are completely covered up. I came here, I save you. Okay? Which is in one sense true, yeah. But Srila Prabhupada's perception of disciples was amazing. Actually, you cannot find it in the Shastra. In the Shastra, the Guru, disciple surrenders, Guru is teaching, that's it, okay? Now, Srila Prabhupada repeatedly in various letters, there is especially one letter where he responds to the Vyasa Puja offering. This is from 1970, relatively early days of ISKCON. And Prabhupada already then responds, "My dear sons and daughters." Yeah? I asked once you, spiritual master, what does it mean actually to be a guru? And he said, it's like a father. You got children. The father has responsibility towards the children. And also he shouldn't act foolishly because the children will then get confused. You know, our father is a drunkard. Oh, that's painful. You are causing harm to the children. In Prabhupada's case, it was even more amazing. He writes very openly, I consider all of you being sent to me by my spiritual master. Actually, he is the Guru. I am just taking care of you. Because you are like now my disciples, but you were sent to me by my Guru. Because my Guru understood that the task he gave me is so big, I cannot handle it alone. So he sent you to me as a help, so you can help me to serve him. This is perfect understanding of Guru Parampara. That's how it works. Guru never thinks this is my property, you know. I'm the master, please serve me here. I am the last station here, okay? You know? That's where all the money goes, that's where all the prasadam goes, that's where all the service goes, here. You know? Such a gurus always fall down, I noticed. That's can be historically proven. No, those who prevail are those who simply consider themselves to be a postman. What is the postman doing? Just delivering the mail. He didn't create the mail. He is not the post office, really. He is just in the service of the post office. So if the postman either doesn't care for the mail, or he is presenting the mail as being his product, he is either careless or a thief. He thinks this is mine now. No. This was just given to us so we can pass it over. That's how Prabhupada perceived us. And that I am not. Prabhupada never defined it this way, that you are my eternal associates. No. Prabhupada never said that. But how is it possible that specifically this particular souls joined him like this and were empowered by him to do the incredible things? Things which mostly today nobody can even dream about. Yeah? This is what happens when you come in touch with pure devotee. You become empowered for what? To preach. That's what we are made from. And it doesn't stop with some eternal associates. This legacy and this, you could say, license to preach can be given to anybody. Anybody who surrenders to the pure devotee and sees and understands clearly, I am just a messenger here. I didn't write the message, I'm just delivering it. So this is essentially what the whole thing is based on. It was wrongly defined in the past that this is a privilege of some very few selected ones to represent Prabhupada. No. Anybody who is sincere can be empowered by Prabhupada until today. And that will be visible in result. In his determination, in his sincerity, and in what he's doing. Not what he is saying, just saying. Saying one can do, I can now say so many things. Right? But what am I going to do with the rest of the day? Right? What I'm doing really for Prabhupada in the rest of the hours and rest of the time, just today. That's the important part. There are devotees who are maybe not so good speakers. Somehow I have no problem to speak. Even my old GBC Harikesha said, if you want somebody to say something, go to Manidhara, he can say it. He's a good speaker. I didn't know what he's talking about. I don't know about this. I just like to share what I got, but I can talk for a long time. Still, the challenge is, what is Manidhara really doing? Talking, eating, and sleeping, many can do. What else can I do? This is my daily question. What else, Prabhupada, I can do for you? So, and this is what, so this eternal associate issue, I would take it as being freely available to everybody. Everybody can become an eternal associate of Prabhupada when he eternally joins his mission. That's what it is. And if you consider, seriously spoken, I know this is considered nowadays controversial, but this is just historical facts. That Prabhupada must have known what kind of people Bhaktisiddhanta is sending him. It's like you come to the jungle, So what do you get? Monkeys, snakes, aborigines, cannibals. They all live in a jungle. That was the environment Prabhupada entered. I cannot even perceive how he must have seen us, how he must have seen the whole Western world. Maybe I'm saying again too much, but like I know example of your guru, he has a great distaste for this Western world. For him it's just like one toilet. He likes India and he is very often in India for the same simple fact that you find still traces of Vedic culture there. He feels completely comfortable with that, and he thinks, yeah, this is where I like to be. Still, he comes, of course, but I know personally how much he dislikes the Western world. Whatever, but Prabhupada came to the Western world. It was his mission. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj didn't tell him. Now, you know what Prabhupada writes? I came to the Western world not to collect disciples. I didn't came here to collect followers. Already in India, I was interested only in one thing. That's what my guru told me. Whenever you get some money, print books. So I was writing and planning how to publish these books. Okay? But then I realized I am just one person. And even I write these books, how do I publish? And how do I distribute? I need help for that. For that reason, I started to take up disciples. Now, this may be very discouraging to some people, and I remember, I was just broadcasting to Africa. I regularly do broadcasts on Zoom to Africa. I'm very careful to mention this, because most of the devotees are not nowadays distributing Prabhupada books, let's face it. And they are burdened by grihastha responsibilities, family responsibilities. When I had a small child, I was not every day on the street either, Yeah. As Prabhupada even said, positively, but humorously, he said, well, they cannot worship the deity now, they have their own deity at home. It's called the children. It's totally time and energy absorbing matter. Just for a while. Then they grow up and walk out. That's what they do. So it's a temporary deity worship. If you want to have an eternal deity worship, well, you have to go on an altar. Krishna doesn't walk out. He's always here for you. Children, they are not always here for you. No. They walk out. That's natural. There's nothing so extraordinary about it. So, how can we be eternal associates of Prabhupada? By becoming eternal associates of his mission. So I'm very careful with this. Here I'm at ease because you are just brahmachari guys who just serve day and night, go out, distribute books, serve. You don't have actually other duties. That's brahmacharya. That's what it is. So I can be a little bit more open, maybe even it's recorded now. But some people always come up, what is Manidhara saying? You cannot become Krishna conscious without distributing books. No, actually I never said that. Prabhupada never said that. But we know his priorities. And I know why he started to accept disciples. Oh boy, I could start to quote his letters. They would be shocking to some people. This is letters you never heard about. They don't tell you that. But Prabhupada wrote, if somebody is not active preacher in ISKCON, there is no need for him being initiated. The congregational members, they should be encouraged to come and take part and support the preachers. Then some people get really nervous and they get upset. I shouldn't get initiated. What do you mean? I am not big friend of the massive initiation conducted sometimes. Hare Krishna, your name is Paramahamsa Das. Hare Rama, your name is Sita Devi Dasi. And then Sita Devi Dasi and Paramahamsa Das come together and they just have a sex like animals. Come on. Hey, I'm not getting a little bit now, I sound fiery. No, I am not fiery. It's happening all the time. Sita Devi Dasi and Paramahamsa Das, and then you have all the little, and then Paramahamsa Das leaves Sita Devi with the little offsprings. Bye-bye. And he goes to Vrindavan. Prabhupada described it already himself. Bogus yogis, bogus yoginis. Prabhupada described, Vrindavan is full of it. Prabhupada gives example, bogus yogi, he's just frustrated, he ran away from home because he cannot maintain the show, so he renunciated in Vrindavan. And then comes bogus yogini, after already finishing of 2 yogis, she arrives in Vrindavan, and she's impressed by the powerful yogi sitting there meditating. So then powerful yogi and powerful yogini come together, and what do? Exactly the same thing they run away from. They create little yogis. Prabhupada described it like that, yes. So we don't want to copy that. But Prabhupada never joined this, you can only go back home, back to Godhead distributing books. No, that will be overdone. How much Prabhupada appreciated those who were doing daily puja on the altar. How much he appreciated anybody with no distinction, male or female, who surrendered his life to him. When you speak about Prabhupada's eternal associates, there is no male and there is no female. Prabhupada writes in one letter. He said, there is no question of sex when somebody fully surrendered. It's also quite revolutionary. In a Vedic culture, there's quite some distinction between male and female, definitely. Like females didn't even got initiation, they just followed the husband. That's it. That was the initiation. That's Vedic culture. Husband goes back home, back to Godhead. The wife automatically goes back home, back to Godhead. You know how easy it is to go back home, back to Godhead? You just follow the husband. That's it. Now, though, of course, the question is, where is the husbands who go back home, back to Godhead? It's interrelated, So no wonder we are in such a messy times. It's called Kali Yuga. Yeah? I saw women leading husbands back home, back to Godhead. I can tell you names, I can tell you stories. So Prabhupada didn't make any distinction like this. He said it's all ultimately spiritual. Anybody who surrenders his life fully to the mission of the Guru is on a spiritual platform. This is our guarantee to be on a spiritual platform, and this is our qualification to become the eternal associates of Srila Prabhupada. Because he has a mission. He didn't stop here with us. This was just a little chapter. Just a little chapter in a big book. Prabhupada goes on and on and on. I don't know where he is now. Well, my only prayer is that next lifetime I can be with him. I don't plan to go back home, back to Godhead. I mean, this is so far, so high. There are devotees, honest devotees, who say, if I could just get, when I am dying, glimpse of Vaikuntha, I would be a happy man. Hello, wow. And then you keep on going. I don't care, lifetime after lifetime, if I could be close to Prabhupada. That's for me going back home, back to Godhead. As Prabhupada said to one devotee who asked, Prabhupada, if I die, I remember you or I remember Krishna. What is the difference? Prabhupada instantly answered, no difference, same result. So that's for me, guarantee I can stay somewhat connected to Krishna by being connected to Prabhupada. I don't know any other connection. Me directly to Krishna, what is this? Your Guru wrote me on Radhastami. He wrote to me, who is me and who is us to glorify Radharani? Radhe, Radhe, you. This is Krishna's most intimate, real. This is the most intimate pastime. This is his most intimate girlfriend. And you want to dash yourself in there? I am here. It's embarrassing. It's shameless. We can only hear, listen, and worship. So this shamelessness, I see it everywhere I go. So cheap. Just, I am the intimate associate of Radharani. Really? Tomorrow, next day, he's sitting in a bar drinking his beer. Come on. How much of this I had to see? And it was always very educational for me because I said, no, at least one thing I can do. I will not embarrass Prabhupada like this. How do you recognize eternal associate of Prabhupada? He feels permanently obliged to him. Even he has his shortcomings and he has his defects, but he's aware of them. And he's praying to Prabhupada, please accept me with all the defects I have. And Prabhupada was so merciful. Sometimes I think, amongst my godbrothers, didn't Prabhupada observe what kind of people are coming in? I remember my brahmachari day sitting in a brahmachari ashram listening to the talk of my brahmachari godbrothers. It was horrifying. How many drugs they took, how long they sit in jail. This kind of people I joined. I was just a kind of quiet, innocent guy, I just joined from Mama. I was sitting at home writing poems. Yeah. I had no money to buy even alcohol. No. And I was just sitting and I was dreaming how to become a genius artist. And then, devotees told me, just shut up. The first thing a devotee told me when I joined, this is a place you just keep your mouth closed and your ears open. And I was like, well, that makes sense. Because I was tired of my talking. And actually, I didn't talk anything as a kami. You may not believe it, but I didn't say one word until I was 17. I was just watching what people are doing, but I was not inspired to join it. Yeah. And I think most devotees have the same story to tell. We didn't fit in. We are all, a little bit off. Prabhupada said you have to be, from a material point of view, quite crazy to join Hare Krishna movement. They think you are mad. That's good. That's the beginning. The question, how much of this madness we brought into Krishna consciousness? And what Prabhupada did is unbelievable. I just read a testimony of my godbrothers. That's regarding eternal associates of Prabhupada, okay? He said, that was from the early days, he said, we got a crazy bhakta. A guy comes in and he talked to everybody. And it was so disturbing because devotees were already chanting and they were going, just shut up. And he was like, and we told him, well, better you chant Hare Krishna at home, bye-bye. And no, he didn't want to leave. So I asked Prabhupada, I went to Prabhupada, I said, Prabhupada, what shall I do with this guy? And Prabhupada said, lock him in a room and make him to chant Hare Krishna. And if he doesn't chant Hare Krishna, they don't give him anything to eat. What a preaching, no? And he said, I did it. I grabbed the guy, put him in a room, locked the door. He said, you just chant. I'm listening. Just chant. No talking to anybody. Chant. And he did that actually. He was Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And I let him be in a room just chanting. Then he came out, he was much better. He was just chanting, not talking to everybody. He got prasadam. As soon as he started to talk, I locked him in a room again. That's a preaching program, isn't it? It's called Bhakta program. Just to give you an example what kind of people were joining. You know what happened to that devotee? He became one of the leading acharyas in ISKCON. I don't tell you the name. Amazing, isn't it? I know that my godbrothers didn't like it when I talked like I remember them. I saw them being brahmacharis. I saw them joining. Now they are sitting on big Vyasasans with tons of garlands and eternal associates of Prabhupada. I saw them joining from hell. Pure hell. You know? Not all. Sorry, I have to be correct, not all. Some of them came from a kind of decent homes, respectable homes, with actually pious parents, Christian, Catholic, whatever. But many that came from this direction. They were already in a psychiatric treatment before they joined. Then they joined and became mega leaders of mega projects. Still a little bit funny. And then when Prabhupada left, they became the big gurus. Sorry, but this is the background. I personally believe one should never forget it. I never forget where Prabhupada picked me up. I never forget those of his followers who were completely devoted to him, however crazy they were, who inspired me to be also devoted to him. I didn't join just by mercy of Prabhupada. I joined by the mercy of my godbrothers who were at that particular time entirely devoted to him. And that was the only thing which kept us going. Prabhupada ki jai! That was the only thing. The first devotee I saw coming running down the stairs in that small house I entered, which was called the temple. It was just a family house, okay? He came running, and he looked at me. I was a new, guy, just, wow. He looked at me and was going, Prabhupada ki jai! And then he ran away. I was going, oh! I said, what kind of people are this? Everybody is screaming here. They were all running. The young people, But completely devoted to the mission of the Guru. No experience, immaturity, passion, everything was there. But what was there was nobody had other agenda. There was no money to steal. You gave it all away. There was no positions. You want to have a position? Well, you must know how to play Mridanga. Then you were respected. Whoa, he knows how to play Mridanga. That's the leader. And what is the leader doing? He was the first one who was on Harinam. He was the first one who was on Sankirtan. Oh, that's the leader. We all followed. I was always like, wow. I tried to come up to the speed of the leader, They were just ahead of us. Sometimes doing funny things. Yeah, there were funny things going on. My first really mega leader, very charismatic, I can mention his name, Hansatuta, just to go with him on Harinam was amazing. The man just made a 3-hour kirtan, 5 people joined. On the street, right away. Wow, I want to be also part of something like this. When it came to management, catastrophic. He was a horrible manager. He was just chanting, come on, and people were joining. What to do with them? Well, that was another problem. There was a problem, actually. And somehow he was very attractive to criminals. I don't know why. Because most of my godbrothers at that time I joined were actually potential criminals. They were already in jail before they joined. So much for Prabhupada's eternal associates. But I'm just mentioning it to demonstrate what Prabhupada has done out of these people. Some of them were so heavy and they were so specifically aggressive, you could say, that no even godbrothers could associate with them. They could relate only to Prabhupada. And when they came to Prabhupada, just angels. He turned aggressive Nazi type of people into angels. And devotees were complaining, Okay, we know him. I can, I don't want to mention names too much, but he can collect so much money. Probably you will know who I am talking about. He can collect millions. But how? Oh, that's practically criminal activity. And the Buddha said, complaining, he said, this is preaching. The man is robbing people, he's stealing, he's doing all kinds of stuff. And Prabhupada said, yeah, this is not so good. But then you look at the devotees, he gives all the money to me. Nobody could argue with that. So Prabhupada took even that risk, to be blamed actually, to maintain such a criminal activity, for spreading Krishna consciousness. If that man wouldn't be so active, you wouldn't see no Vrindavan temple, you would see no Mayapur temple, you know that? He collected so much money for that. I met him personally, very demanding to meet him. Until today, he's like, kill them all, bang, 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 like really aggressive. We are old men now. I just took one lunch with him. I had digestion problems, He was so aggressive during the eating. And then he smiled, like completely in ecstasy, and he said, Prabhupada gave me only one instruction. Make some money. And this is my lifelong mission, yes. So it's not about the money, it's about surrendering to the Guru. And they did. They did. Now this all sounds extreme and maybe even controversial, but the principle of the whole thing, behind the whole thing is that everybody can become eternal associates if he surrenders to the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Now, nowadays we don't do such extreme activities, I don't think so. And there are all kinds of things going on, I'm not going to go into it. What can be done in the name of money? But Krishna nicely turned out to be so penniless that we have no even time to do some criminal activity with money because we don't have any. And such devotees don't even appear anymore. Who can go out there and bring back millions just like that. I don't see them coming and I don't see them joining even. So we are now on another level, yeah, okay. But the principle is still the same. Everybody can become eternal associates of Srila Prabhupada if he surrenders to his mission. In whatever way possible. So I couldn't say who is the eternal associate and who not. I just see that some of my God brothers and God sisters cannot let it go. Prabhupada is everything to them. Everything. And everything means nothing else. Nothing needs to be added, nothing needs to be subtracted, nothing needs to be changed. Prabhupada pure. The more we act like this, we have some hope to achieve something. Anything else I saw coming, going. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha! A new paradigm change. As a new is gone. And then a few weeks later, or a few months later, or maybe even 1 to 3 years later, you don't hear one damn thing about it. It's all gone. So I'm not so enthusiastic on these trumpets always, And then Prabhupada saw it already in his days. He quoted this Bengali saying, monkey jumping, and at the end only melancholy. Monkeys are also very active, They run here and there, and what is the result? Just monkey running. So, I will end now because it's an interesting question. But you will recognize Prabhupada's eternal associate by his unwavering determination to stay with Prabhupada by any means. It doesn't matter what happens to him, it doesn't matter what happens around him. He is not moving. Always trying a way to serve Srila Prabhupada in one way or another. That's all. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.